Kept you waiting, huh?
Howdy folks, Seskinator11 here, and this is my Resident Evil 4 Professional Difficulty No Damage OSP New Game Run. And this is now part 6 of this entire run. And we are making our way forward, trying to find out where Ashley was sent off to, which was basically on the other side of that wall. But yeah, folks, I really do love the soundtrack in this game, particularly right now. Whenever I think of Resident Evil 4, I always think of this OST right now, and it's absolutely amazing. It always gets the blood going, it gets my excitement, my heart pumping, excitement skyrocketing. It's amazing. But yeah, I'm checking out the what I can find from all the vases, as some people say, or vases. And then we go ahead and move over here, and what's really sad is that I missed the bottle on the first shot. So I'm not a true RE4 fan at all if I missed that on the first shot. But yeah, folks, I'm just kidding. Anyway, you know I don't have the rifle, you know I don't have any upgraded weapons, so it makes it a bit more difficult to aim and fire at things. But what you're going to see right now is that I definitely don't fight everything in this room, because I just don't have the ammo for it. And if I had the ammo and wasted it all, I would not have forgiven myself. And that right there, that right there was just hysterical. I mean, I love that feature. You kick open the you kick open the trap door, and it just makes the enemy go flying to the other side. I absolutely love that. But yeah, folks, now we're in the room, the rising platform room, and it's where we're going to pick up our very first and only rocket launcher of the game that we can use. Of course, the other one that is used is the special rocket launcher thrown to you by Ada, which again is an OSP, On Site Procurement weapon, because you're picking it up from the environment rather than buying it at the shop. So it's still legitimate. But yeah, this rocket launcher in the next room is going to be the only one you get to use effectively. And the time where we use it is going to be for the Salazar boss. Some people may have wondered if I was going to use it for Vertigo, Salazar's right-hand man. Your right hand comes off Salazar? But no, I'm not going to use it for him. There's actually a cheeky strat that I use for Vertigo, and it's a well-known strat, of course. You know, many people have used it. At first, though, I want to point out that I did use the door glitch, and I felt really bad about using that tactic, so instead I re-recorded that whole section. And it was very unfortunate because I had to go all the way back before you fight the possessed knights, where you pick up the Queen's Grail and the King's Grail to move forward in that hallway. So I had to replay that entire segment and replay the tower with where you shoot the wooden bars outside of the gears. And it was a little bit upsetting, but it was all worth it in the end, because I didn't want to record this run with a tactic like that, where I just sit back and watch as Vertigo runs into the door like a freaking buffoon. So instead I actually use a strat that requires a little bit of timing and just a bit of skill. It is very doable though, folks, if you understand the timing to it. And it's not too impressive in my opinion, but I did like how effective it was. You know, it's not nearly as impressive as doing laps up and down the hallway while Vertigo is trying to attack you, and you have to input the QuickTime events fast enough. But I did like how comfortable the strategy was, and that's exactly what we were going for on a no damage run. But yeah, what you're seeing here, folks, is I'm manipulating the crowd. I'm making sure I don't get hit by anything, which can be very frustrating. Like that right there. Look at that. Look at the timing on that reload. I wasn't even planning that. I wish I could say I did, but I didn't. And of course he turns into one of the most annoying Las Plagas in the game, which is the one where after you kill it, it detaches from the body and then tries to attack you. But as long as it's not one of those tentacles from 3-make, I'll forgive the game's mechanics right now. Because as I keep saying throughout my entire run, this game is an absolute masterpiece. I love it. So, anyway folks, it's all about keeping your distance and using ammo effectively, so be sure to land your shots. And inevitably with unupgraded weapons, it's going to take a lot of ammo to kill one of these guys. And now you'll see that the creature has been detached, and it takes a couple shots to kill him. And luckily he was kind enough to drop ammo for us, so very nice. But yeah, it's so interesting. And as I said before, I'm very excited for my motherboard to be shipped on Thursday, hopefully if all goes well, and it is actually shipped on Thursday, because then I can put my PC together, which is now compatible with everything, including the headset that I'm wearing right now to record this commentary. I'm very excited. I really want to become a PC player, and you know, I know that a lot of people say that once you go PC, you can never go back to console, which part of me believes that, but the other, again, I can't say anything because I haven't experienced that for myself. I know that once I see the better side of life, so to speak, I'll never want to go back. But there are going to be some console games that when I do, you know, when I get all the trophies for, you know, on occasion, like, for instance, all the Yakuza games, I really want to go back and play all of those, because I've only played Kiwami. Because Kiwami was part of one of the PS Plus free games one month, so I went and platinumed that game on PS4, and that game was so much fun. I loved every minute of it, even when it was being stupid, I loved it. Just because Kazuma Kiryu does a ton of moves in that game that you feel so powerful doing yourself, and I want to go back, I want to play the rest of the games, starting with Yakuza 0, and then I might skip, actually, Kiwami 2. Even though I know that it, you know, is sequential, and it goes in order, chronological order from the storyline, but I hear that Kiwami 2 has different mechanics, and the mechanics aren't as sound as for instance, Yakuza 0 or Yakuza Kiwami 1. So I might skip over that and start with Yakuza 3 and 4 and 5, and then probably go back to Kiwami 2, because Kiwami 2 has the same mechanics as 6 does. So we'll see about that one. We'll see how that one goes. But yeah, folks, it's always sad whenever you do a knife slash and the guy with the mask, you hit him with the knife. Which I don't know if that does any damage or not. It'd be interesting to get a PC damage modifier on it and see what it is. But yeah, always use your knife when you can on the locks on the doors. It's just so much easier and you don't have to waste any ammo. But yeah, now I'm heading back now. I'm picking up what I can. You can't actually climb back up that, so just be wary of that. And in that glass display case, you're going to see our very first and only rocket launcher that we're going to pick up. So what you're going to see me do is I'm going to go ahead and rearrange my tiny attaché case that, you know, seemingly can't fit much, but you know, it's all we have to work with, because technically if we bought upgrades for the attaché case from the shopkeeper, it would nullify this run, and this run wouldn't be legitimate anymore. So we can't buy anything at the shopkeeper, folks. It's only about on-site procurement, and that also includes the attaché case sizes. So yeah, now I'm picking up the Incendiary Grenade. Luckily I have space for that. The rifle ammo does not matter though, because we don't even have a rifle to fire that. But look at how nicely that fits, folks. At first, I was a little bit worried and thought that none of this would fit, but it fits very nicely. Now the only other weapon that we're going to be picking up is going to be the Broken Butterfly. But I believe that I used some of those grenades to free up some space, because you can put the Broken Butterfly in the upper right corner of your attaché case. So that's not going to be an issue with space management. Maybe you can't pick up as many grenades as you think you can, but it's okay, because we need that Broken Butterfly. It's very essential for this run, because it actually is a gun that does damage. Unlike our handgun and our base shotgun, they do like hardly any damage, and the only use that they have is for crowd management and for stunning people and for kneecapping them and engaging them in the QuickTime events. So yeah, it's the end of chapter 3.3, and we are pressing on, folks. Yeah, going back on what I said before with the Yakuza games is I really want to play all those games and platinum all. And it does take a long time, particularly Yakuza 0, which is one of the hardest games, not hardest, but most time-consuming games to 100% complete. Because there's just so many mini-games, and a lot of them are based on luck. Particularly the fishing. We've been watching a lot of Seraphim17 play that on his stream, and it's very entertaining to watch him. So I highly recommend checking him out, by the way. He's very entertaining, he has a lot of interesting commentary, and he likes to keep things very lighthearted and fun and sarcastic at times as well. So I know what you're thinking. I know that firing at Ashley with just a handgun can be very risky, but I assure you it's very doable. Always fire from bottom to top, so that way she doesn't bend over and cover the rest of the restraints. And yeah, you're going to see just how much damage I inflict on these enemies by me firing at them with the handgun. It's so sad. It's absolutely so sad. But the game makes it doable, folks. That's the best thing about it. But yeah, Ashley's just cowering in the corner there. I get a nice headshot off of that guy because I did enough damage on his body. And now the guy's head is pretty much underneath Ashley's anus just then. Which is, I don't know, could be good or could be bad, depending on his preferences. So, who knows? But hopefully we're going to be putting him out of his misery pretty soon. But he takes so much ammo to kill, because our handgun does diddly squat at this point. And it just gets worse, folks. It gets worse and worse as you get to the island. You'll see as the HP of the enemies increases ever so drastically, and, you know, it becomes more difficult, but thus is the nature of this challenge run. Yeah, Ashley goes for the door, realizes that it's locked and she needs a key, and that's where our friend comes out, and once again he's wearing the key on his chest. So what I do now is I throw a flash grenade, because now there's wonderful archers down below, and then I toss a grenade right after that, to hopefully do a bit more damage than I can with my pistol or my shotgun. So now another guy comes out there. He doesn't have an archer, which is nice, but he goes after Ashley, so we're firing at him with the handgun. And now the red robe dude is moving over. He just sort of points and yells obscenities at Ashley, and in Espanol, of course. So I put him down with the gun, and then I take out the incendiary grenade, and watch this. It's very sad what I do just now. It doesn't hit him. Very sad indeed. But I get him eventually with the second one. And that was 2 grenades just absolutely wasted. Although I think I got one of the enemies at the lower left-hand corner of the screen, but it's very hard to to see that. I wish this this segment was a bit cleaner, but again, with the runs like this, the successful ones are not always clean, folks. Sometimes the best runs you have are the ones where you fail. The cleanest runs, that is, are the ones where you fail. And the rest of them, you know, they could be the messiest things ever, and you end up no damaging them. But yeah, see what I'm doing just then with the shotgun? It's very important to put the aimer on the enemy. And as long as you put the aimer on the enemy, the spread of the bullets won't kill Ashley. As soon as that aimer, the little red dot, goes on Ashley, then you're screwed and you'll kill her in one shot, as I've done in my previous attempts. And now this begins the absolute best part of the no damage OSP run, is when you play as Ashley. Because you don't fight any of these enemies, folks, and weapons don't matter in this whole segment. And that's why it was refreshing. That's the only reason why. So, we're moving on. I'm going for the save, because that segment was a little bit annoying. But we're doing just fine. So now what I do is I run right past that guy and I go right underneath the furniture here, and he can't get after us because there's a gate to our left and there's only one guy in here. So what I do is I go immediately for the crank, which this is a speedrunner's tactic, by the way. They just immediately go for the crank and that guy doesn't even notice us, which is so interesting. This is the only crank where the guy's actually going to notice us, as you see on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. So what I do is I try to run past him and go into the opening, but it's not big enough. So then I have to throw a candle at this dude. So he'll go down for a little bit, which is just fine. Plenty of time to open this a little bit more so we can get through. And that's just what I do. But yeah, folks, it's very hard to tell what day it is during this quarantine. I mean, I do work every day. I do my sessions through a what's called the Doxy interface, and it's a HIPAA-compliant interface that allows you to do video chat sessions with clients. So that's the only reason why I'm able to still do my job, luckily. And don't get me wrong, folks, I'm very grateful for this, to be able to do something like that. And, you know, it really helps me so that way I can continue to support my family, continue to support just myself too, included. And, you know, my wife as well, she can do her job too remotely, which is very, very fortunate. So she can also support us as well. Because my income is based purely on the amount of clients I see. And if I have a slow week one week, then it becomes a little bit difficult and challenging, so it all depends on how many clients I get per week. You know, strictly the financial side of things. But I do love my job. I love the fact that I'm able to do my job remotely. And it was a huge adjustment at first, folks. It was very different going from sitting in a room with a client to sitting in front of my computer and seeing them on a screen and doing therapy. It's so interesting. And yeah, what you're going to see here, folks, is I'm failing miserably at this puzzle. There's a way to get it in a few moves or less, and I definitely mess it up early on. So I sped up the puzzle a little bit, so hopefully you don't get too bored. But yeah. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it works out well and you won't get too bored of me. But anyway, yeah, I'm still able to do my job, which works, but it's still really hard to differentiate what day it is during the week and what we're doing and what is planned each day. It makes it so difficult because every day looks the same for the most part. And when it's the weekend, it's seemingly not like the weekend. So what I actually recommend to my clients, and I try to live by this on my own as well, and follow my own advice, is trying to schedule very unique activities for each of the days of the week if you can, or at least select few days to at least differentiate the weekend days from the weekdays. So for instance, maybe you have a board game night on a Saturday night, and you do that with whoever you're living with, if you have roommates, or if you want to talk to somebody on Zoom. Have something like that going on, because that can help you look forward to something in the week as opposed to having nothing planned. Or another idea is to maybe schedule a walk, go to the park, to any parks that are open, that is, and I can again continue to maintain 6 feet distance away from people and just enjoy the outdoors. And yeah, watch the viewpoint here as Ashley does the wonderful dodges away from the parasitic knights. The Capcom devs were definitely enjoying the fact that they put Ashley in a skirt on that one. Oh, goodness gracious. But anyway. Yeah, folks, scheduling things throughout the week to differentiate the days. And I do have a few activities I have scheduled throughout the week that helps me. I have a friend, IRL, that he's a really good friend of mine, and I'm hoping to continue sessions with him. We're playing Diablo 3 right now. Almost every weekend we have a Saturday night, chat session while we play. And it's a lot of fun playing with him, and the game is a lot of fun too. It's not the typical game that I would go for in terms of style, but after trying it and after playing it for a few minutes with him, I'm enjoying it a ton. And I'm also enjoying talking to him because it's really hard to see people in person these days because of what's going on. But again, as I said before, it's important to schedule activities. And then, of course, me and my wife are going on walks in the neighborhood and finding benches to sit on so that way we can at least be outside. And we take our doggo for walks as well. And if you don't know already, my dog's name is Harley Quinn. And she's a pit bull American bulldog mix. And she's got white fur, white face, and she's got some black spots on her face, and the rest of her body has got a mixture between white and brown fur, and she's the cutest little pit bull American bulldog ever, and I love her so much. And I love my family, of course. I love going on walks with my wife and our dog, and it's a good way to just sit back and reflect on what you do have, because I did mention this before. I am a big time runner. It's another thing I do to help take my mind off of the stress of sessions and of counseling, because I do hear a lot of deep and heavy stuff in sessions, and a good way for me to engage in self-care is to run. And I've ran about 4 marathons in my life right now, and I'm hoping to run in the Chicago Marathon this year, but as of right now, I don't know if it's actually going to happen, which is really sad. My wife is telling me to still train for it because it'll still be, a good experience to train and keep my mind on something. But yeah, I don't know. Not having an actual marathon to look forward to, because the marathon itself, although very difficult, it's one of the best moments because it's what makes the training worth it. Especially in Chicago, it is one of the greatest experiences, folks. All the neighborhoods come out, they cheer everybody on. There's all the culture everywhere. There's different vibes all around the neighborhoods, and it's so much fun seeing everybody support one another. Like, it's one of the greatest things. It kind of gives you hope for humanity. It really hits you at the core. But yeah, folks, when you're running through this room again, be very careful, because I didn't kill all the enemies, and if you don't do that, they're going to still be there. So be very cautious when you're going back to get the broken butterfly, which is what I'm doing right now. Since we have Ashley to vault over the ledge and into the window. But yeah, folks, that's another thing right now, is that it's really difficult to plan for things. Plan for trips that you once had planned, plan for, future events. People who have weddings that were scheduled for this year, I just can't even imagine how they must feel right now. Because, I know that it's a good way to, understand how connected people are and how disciplined they are. And, it goes to show that, they're in it for the long haul if they're just willing to postpone the wedding. And a lot of people that I've been hearing do is they're getting married at the courthouse with a very small party, of people like their folks, their family members, their parents, their siblings, and then later on hosting the wedding and having it as normal. So it's just very difficult these days, and also very strange, that's for sure. But yeah, as everybody is saying, and another thing that everybody is saying as well is, stay healthy, stay safe. Stay healthy, stay safe. It's like we're on a broken record. Everybody's saying that. Stay healthy, stay safe. That's all we can say. And I'm also like, I don't want to hear that freaking phrase ever again. I don't want to hear COVID-19 ever again. And I don't want to freaking hear coronavirus ever again. It's just, it's one of those things that we just have to keep moving forward with, though. No matter how frustrating it is. But yeah, we made it to the location where the broken butterfly is, and I'm going to go ahead and vault Ashley over, but for whatever reason you have to actually examine the door first, which is why you can see me here being very flustered and kind of confused. So, I guess you have to examine the door, and then Leon makes that comment, and then he does the piggyback option. Which, it makes sense logistically, but if you know you can vault Ashley over in the first place, you might as well just give us the option, especially when she's with us. Like, it makes sense that the piggyback option won't pop up on the screen if Leon is going back there and checking it out. But, it's one of the flaws of the game, one of the very few flaws. Because again, this game isn't perfect, but it's definitely a masterpiece. And there we have it, folks, the broken butterfly. All you're going to see me do here is I'm going to move the grenades over, I'm going to discard the egg because it's a healing item, and we don't need that for the no damage run. And I'm going to move the broken butterfly right over there. And it fits like a glove in the attaché case, just over there. So things are getting a little bit cramped in here now, but this is only going to be like this until the Salazar fight, when you use the rocket launcher. And then once you use the rocket launcher, you're just going to have the broken butterfly, and you're going to have plenty of space in the attaché case for any ammo, for any grenades, for anything that you need to pick up. And it's not going to be an issue. So now we're moving on, moving forward, back through the castle, back to where we started. Watch out for these guys, though. Just down them, put them on the ground, because we're never going to go through this area again. And you're going to see me run around. I don't know where Wolverine guy went. I think he drops down as scripted much later. But we're not going to stick around long enough to find out. So we're just moving on. But yeah, folks, these are the weapons that you're going to see throughout the entire run. The broken butterfly, the base handgun, and the base shotgun. And the one rocket launcher, and that's it. So, especially during the island section of the game, it's going to require a lot of improvisation and a lot of knife tech. Because without the knife, I feel like this run might not be even possible. Because you would run out of ammo, you would not be able to do enough damage, and it would be impossible to just complete it. But yeah, folks, another thing that is very entertaining these days is apparently there's this virus on YouTube, and I'm sure you might have seen it in the comments, but there's random people commenting on people's videos asking if they want to be friends. If they're asking the YouTuber to be friends with them. And it's absolutely hilarious because if you do a little bit more research into this, this is actually a ploy to hack into your system or steal your information. I think it takes you to a link. Like if you go to the person's YouTube page, it might ask you to click on a link and put your information. And if you're none the wiser and you're a kid and you've never seen something like that before, you might actually think it's a friend asking to be your friend. But if you're understanding of the mechanics of YouTube and what's going on, you'll realize it's pretty fishy. So my recommendation is to be very cautious and careful on that, folks, because you don't want your information to be stolen. Wow. English for you there. Stealed. No, it's stolen. So I was very worried about this part in the beginning, guys, and my first attempt was actually me shooting the chains a bunch of times, because originally what I'm used to is taking the rifle and shooting one of the chains at the top to down the dragon, other than shooting the guy itself. Because as you'll see here, you can have a lot of trouble aiming for the guy that's standing behind the dragon head. But it's a lot of manipulation with the camera, it's a lot of manipulation of the guy up there, because once the dragon turns a certain way, you'll be able to shoot the guy that's standing on there perfectly. So that's exactly what I do here. And it gets pretty close, because I mean, look at that, the guy almost hit me. And he almost hit me again a second time, but for whatever reason, he wasn't close enough to me. So I'm running back up here, hoping that I can get a better aim on the guy on the other dragon. And I don't believe I do, which is very sad, as you can see here. So you can't see him at all. And I think what I do now is I get in a little closer so I can get a shot off of him. Yeah, this is me checking to see if he's going to fire his flame at me from all the way over here, but luckily he doesn't. And I'm kind of glad they didn't bring Ashley in this section, because since they have this rotating cage, I don't think they could program the AI to follow Leon through that cage. Otherwise Ashley would have fallen over and died. And I was so close on that shot. Didn't you see the circle imprint on the guy's head? But luckily he was able to stop there and I got him. So it was nice of Capcom to make it one shot, even with a base handgun that hasn't been upgraded. And the game is usually pretty forgiving about certain areas, and it takes into account these moments. So again, this run wouldn't be possible if it weren't for the balanced mechanics. So yeah, it takes a lot of shots to get that chain, because it's just too risky to run out there and shoot the guy. Maybe you can if you aim the dragon head all the way to the left, but I don't take a chance because the checkpoint is way at the beginning of the entrance. And believe it or not, I didn't manipulate the checkpoint in this room. I just went through it start to finish, which is very uncommon, I know. But that was perfect timing right there. I was so happy that happened, because that saved me a ton of ammo, and it eliminated the risk of me being hit. So now I'm taking the shotgun and I'm using it on the chain, because the handgun does not. And that guy falls over, and then the stairs come up, and it makes the path to the chest. And we're able to get the final piece that we need to progress on in the castle. From the very beginning of the castle. So I used my shotgun on that guy. I probably could have used a handgun shot, but yeah, I think I switch right now. I grab the piece, which is the lion ornament, and then I just run past this guy. 'Cause why not? Why waste the ammo? And it probably was a mistake, because I still have to wait for this cage to align itself, but luckily I made it through, so we're all good. But yeah, I wonder what they're going to release next though, Capcom. I wonder if they're going to release Resident Evil 8 first, or if they're going to go with Resident Evil 4 Remake, or Code Veronica Remake, or whichever. I'm really hoping Code Veronica is the one they remake and not RE4, because then it'll delay the inevitable demise of this wonderful game. But nothing will change about having this version of the game, and that's the best thing about it. The same goes for Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, the OGs. Nothing's going to change those games, because you'll still be able to play them either on emulators, or if you still have an old PS1 handy, you know, or PS3, like one of those base PS3s that still plays PS1 and PS2 games, backwards compatible, which I actually have, because I bought one of those systems earlier on. I think the price deducted, because at first the PS3 was a monstrous $600 when it was first released, but then they decreased it about $100 less, and then I saved up all my lifeguarding money and I bought it. So that was still very fun. But yeah, it was. I still have that backwards compatible PS3, the fat PS3 as it's called. The unfortunate thing is that the Blu-ray laser malfunctioned multiple times. It malfunctioned once. I sent it in for repair. They repaired it, and then it malfunctioned twice. And then by that time, the PS3 Slim and Ultra Slim, I think it's called, came out, and Sony didn't have the parts or equipment to be able to replace the fat PS3s anymore. And the warranty was expired as well, so I couldn't send it back. So instead, I ended up buying a PS3 Slim back in the day, because I knew I wanted to continue playing PS3 games, and I couldn't just play PS2 or PS1 games. But luckily, that fat PS3 just acts as my PS2 almost, because I mean, it works still for those games, the discs even. So I can still play games like, you know, Tekken 4, Tekken 5. I can play the OG RE4 that's not in HD or not in 60 frames per second like this one, if I wanted to. But yeah, everything was unlocked on my save file on the PS2, which I kind of want to make you know, I want to unlock all the weapons in this game as well for the PS4, because that was a lot of fun. And I managed to do all the characters on stream, with the exception of Hunk and Wesker, to get the 5 stars and the mercenaries for this game. And I want to go back and do one more stream to get all the stars for Hunk and Wesker. So yeah, I'm hoping to do that eventually. And again, that could be, you know, an idea for a fun event that I can plan for myself, you know, during this quarantine. Because it's just something to look forward to, folks. So what I do here is I do some item management. I leave that grenade there because it's not going to despawn. Because I know I'm going to use grenades for the night battle coming up, the parasitic night battle. So, but yeah, folks, when I save here, I had to return to the save to re-record just the Vertigo battle, which is, it's not too far back, but it's kind of obnoxious. The only real challenging part is the double Wolverine fight in the corridor leading up to the Vertigo battle, and then the night battle here. The rest of the areas, though, aren't too bad, because the bug section isn't too bad to get by, because you can manipulate the bugs through the geometry by hopping over the edge to the outside. And yeah, so it's pretty manageable. But yeah, right now we're walking on towards the night room, which is a pretty challenging room in my opinion. I spent a good amount of time here with this run. And then I had to do it again to re-record the Vertigo battle. But funny enough, the second time I went through this, it wasn't as bad as this time. And it's probably because I became a better player and just wanted to learn the mechanics a little bit better. Because it's all about manipulating those enemies. What's nice here is that you can leave Ashley by the door while you go in to fight the knights, so that way she's not in the way. Because I can't even imagine having Ashley next to you in this room for the entire time while the knights are wailing on you. But yeah, what's important here is that you want to try to group them as much as possible, like that. And that way you can fire off a few shotgun shells to them. Because guys, the shotgun that I have right now, the rate of fire is very low, and it takes so long to fire the gun. And reload too. So right now you'll see here that I have 0 shells, and now I have to kite the knights throughout the room. And what you're seeing right now is what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to get them to swing. And that's very scary right there. It's amazing that the parasite, the plaga, doesn't get me. So yeah, I decided to just reload right there, and luckily nobody hits me. But yeah, an experienced player, unlike myself, would force them to do a long downward hit like that, so that way you could reload your gun if you need to. That should give you enough time to reload your gun. But yeah, this room is tricky if you're, again, you don't develop the feel for the enemies. So it's very important to develop that feel. So now there's one more over there. And now all the helmets have revealed the plagas. So now all you do is throw a flash grenade, and it's so satisfying to see the 3 of them just absolutely dissolve into nothingness. But yeah, what I'm very sad about now is that you're not going to see that for the next round of knights, because they're a little bit tougher. So what you're going to see me do is I equipped a grenade. Again, I try to group them up together as much as possible. I tossed a grenade right there. It damages all 3 of them, which is very nice. And then I go for the shotgun to get the helmet blasts. So look at how much tougher these ones are. They're wearing a little bit different armor than the ones before, so that's how you can tell. And you can definitely tell with the shotgun ammo that I have and the shotgun damage that I have right now, which is base damage. But yeah, very scary, but doable, of course. See, look, I was baiting that swing right now. That very quick swing that they do is very scary indeed. And it's kind of hard to know when they're going to do something like that. So right now I have 2 of them revealed. And I'm trying to get the 3rd one. But I don't have shotgun ammo in my shotgun right now reloaded. So instead what I do is I equipped a flash grenade. And I decide to just kill the 2 that are there. And then I will go for the other one with just my ammo. Because I've played this section for a very long time at this point, and I just want to get through it. So I lost a little bit of patience in this section. But yeah, right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that the knight, is not nearby me. And I can, flash these guys right away. And I think I'm still deciding if I want to grenade this guy or not. Because when you run with a grenade, you run a little bit faster. And yeah, there I go. I go for the reload on the shotgun. And now his head is revealed, which is good. So now we can get some damage off of the head. And I just go for it. And it takes so much ammo. But look at that. 6 shells, and he's down. Very lucky. And that wasn't planned at all, folks. That was not planned at all. 0% planned on that one. As much as I would like to say it was planned. But yeah. And now we're pressing on. And one would think that the other side of this, where you pick up the other Grail, would be more challenging. But it's actually very simple, folks. And I was very shocked to see that the 2 enemies that are driving the drill at the end only are killed with 1 handgun bullet each. And a handgun bullet that isn't even upgraded. So you're going to see that coming up. Yeah, first what I do is I believe I drop a save. Just because it's always good to drop a save, especially after a fight like that and you take no damage. So we go ahead and do that. And we're pressing on. This is me just checking over my ammo. Because I think at this point I stopped playing and I was going back to it. It's kind of interesting how you can tell if I'm refreshing what I have and what I currently own in my inventory after stepping away from the game for either, you know, a day or, you know, a few hours or what. But yeah, folks, how do you feel about what they're going to do for Resident Evil 8 whenever that's going to be released? How do you feel about what they're going to decide to do for the inevitable Resident Evil 4 remake that is currently just a rumor? So in this segment, all you got to do is shoot the lights at the top, the 4 lights. And you don't have to worry about any enemies, luckily, on the ground. The only time you worry about that is when you go into the minecart section, where you're underground. But yeah, this is me checking for handgun ammo, and I actually missed it if you if you see it back there. I missed picking up that handgun ammo. And it's right there in the corner, Susk. You missed it. It was right freaking there, but you missed it entirely. What's funny is this, when I went back and had to get my save before Vertigo again, is I saw that handgun ammo there and I was like, I definitely didn't pick that up in the recorded version of this run. So I kind of muttered son of a bitch and under my breath, but you know, again, the successful runs are the ones that we make mistakes in, and that's just how it is. But yeah, did you see that, folks? Both of those enemies took basically 1 shot each, and they died. How balanced is that? A section where you have to be very quick on your feet, you have to understand what's going on, if this is a puzzle or not, if there's a way to get through this without killing Ashley. It allows you to kill those enemies in 1 shot. Such a balanced game. I love it. Now we've picked up the Queen's Grail, we've got all the Grails, and we're moving forward. And now I can pick up that flash grenade because I actually have the space. See, that was all planned, folks. But yeah, The Wonderful 101, I believe, is coming out. I think it came out already this previous Friday. But I definitely want to check that game out, and I might do it on PC. Because it looks like a really fun game, and it looks like a game that requires a lot of skill. So, I'm definitely going to check that out eventually. Because not only that, it looks like a very fun game. And it's a game where you can get, pure platinum ranks, just like Bayonetta. But it requires a lot of skill and a lot of understanding of a game like that and all of its mechanics. So what you see here, what I'm doing here, folks, is that I'm making sure that all those guys out there have stood up, which they have. And the Opie flash grenade allows them to be stunned all at once. So now we could run past them without using all our ammo, put the Grails in, and then open the door up so we can proceed forward. And it works like a charm. And yeah, in this section right now, I want to be fully transparent. I reloaded the section a bunch, and it's not because of dying to the bugs or dying to the snake in that container right there. It was only to get more Magnum ammo, and that's what I wanted. So it was very lucky that I picked that up. But some of those containers are complete RNG. So if you feel not so guilty about reloading the checkpoint, go ahead and do that, so that way you can get more Magnum ammo like I did. Because again, it's an OSP run. It's not an upgraded run, or a run where you can visit the merchant and buy all the items and upgrade your weapons. So now, folks, what you're going to see me do is I'm going to go pick up the butterfly lamp over here on the outside of this area where the nest is for the bugs. And that's only out of habit because I like picking up all the treasures, but luckily this one doesn't require any ammo, so we're good. And I don't bother destroying the nest, even though you get a huge amount of treasures from it. Instead, I just proceed forward, because I gotta save my ammo. And I'm slowly learning to save my ammo as well. Alright, so right away, Ashley gets taken away, so you don't have to worry about her. Run right out of this door. I learned this technique from Seraphim17, so props to you, Seraphim17, for guiding me on this. What you do is you hop out here, and that'll force the bugs to stay outside, because for whatever reason they can't fly out this window. And whenever they're flying, if you hit them once with any weapon, they will die instantly. I don't know what kind of mistake the devs made on this, but I appreciate it. Because being able to down those enemies while they're flying in one bullet is so rewarding. And they drop so many eyes, too, for your butterfly lamp. There's one more over there. I grab it, because I gotta grab everything. And yeah, what you're going to see up there is there's actually a bug up there on the nest. I don't know if he'll fly down and attack me, but I don't take a risk. So what I do is I put a bullet into him, and he goes down in one hit. Which is very nice. I don't know if that counts as him being up in the air or not. That was me checking if I could preemptively shoot the chains to release the bridge, but you actually can't. You need to activate the switch first, and then shoot the chains. But luckily they go in one hit, unlike the dragons that were hanging from the ceiling. And then we can proceed onward. There's one more bug up there. I kill him just for safekeeping, and he's down. I check one more time and check if he fell on the platform to see if he dropped any goodies for me, but he did not. And we move forward. And yeah, folks, we are now nearing the end of this video. So after I do a quick survey of the scene, I'm going to go ahead and save, and that's going to be it for this part. Thank you all again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next part. You all, take care now.